Hello, everybody. Greetings and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So it's Tuesday night. We're back here for the final episode of the mini series that we are running for the last 6 weeks now. This will be episode number 6, which is Decade Apart, in which I take two albums. Well, Ben gives me two albums, a decade apart from a band. So the band that we are doing tonight is the Blue Oyster Cult. This is Tyranny and Mutations from 1973, one of the black and white albums. And the other one is from 1983, which is titled Revolution by Night. I actually went out today. I've listened to it a few times on the weekend, but I went out today to actually purchase the album, so I had it for the show. But they had almost all their albums except for that one. They didn't have that one, and they didn't have a couple others, but basically that was the main one that I was looking for, and they just didn't have it. But anyways, I've listened to both. This one, of course, I've listened to a lot more because I own it, and it was in my playlist for a while. I never really warmed up to this one too much. It's not that it's a bad album. I don't think it's bad. I think, unfortunately for it, I put it in my playlist after Secret Treaties, which I absolutely adored. And then when this came out, it just kind of didn't live up to that same level that I was hoping for. So a little bit about this album. It's their 73 release, of course, considered one of the black and white albums, which mean the first three albums all were black and white in color. So a pretty heavy album, actually. When I listen to the songs, pretty heavy. The Red and the Black, of course, is on here. Baby Ice Dog, another pretty decent track. But I never really got into this album, although I found it heavier. I wouldn't say it's metal or anything. It's harder. It's probably the hardest of their first 4 or 5 albums, I think. And I found it a little bit more raw as well. You got, the great thing about Blue Oyster Cult is most of the members sing on any given album. Some of them sing on every album. But they're quite good. Songs are good. No two albums is the same by them, which is another thing I quite like. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that everybody's writing and everybody's singing. So you're going to get a different sound on every album depending on who's doing what, right? But this one was it's a pretty solid one. It says it was produced by Bruce Dickinson. Yeah, for a minute there I thought it was Dickerson. I said, no, he wasn't around for that. Anyways, pretty strong album. Hard, a bit more raw, not as much... not really a commercial sounding album, I wouldn't call it. Some really good guitar playing, fantastic. And just overall feel of the album is pretty heavy, I think. As to the other album, which I can't show you here because I don't have it, Revolution by Night. This album, I listened to it a couple times, so I've only been through it a few times, so my opinion of it is probably a little bit less than it probably would be if I had owned it and was playing it regularly. It's a hard rock album too, pretty hard. They both have that much in common. This one is much more, production is cleaner, sound is cleaner, a lot more commercial sounding as well. And there is a fair number of pop songs on this album, which I think are pretty, like, they're pretty strong songs, but they're a lot. It's a pop. It's got more of a poppy element than Tyranny and Mutations has. But it's still it's a good album. It's one that I definitely want to have. It's funny how different it is even from Fire of Unknown Origin, which was the album that I bought first and just came before this. Very different albums. You wouldn't even know it's the same band. And I found that with a lot of their albums, it's just totally different sounding. This one, no different than that. So yeah, pretty good. This was the first album without their longtime drummer, Al. I think it's Al. Is it Al Bouchard or Joe Bouchard? I think it's Al on the drums. And so they kicked him out of the band, replaced him with another guy. I think his last name was Downey. Am I wrong? Let me just check here. I don't want to give out false information. Yeah, it was Al Bouchard. So he's gone. He's out the door and replaced by Rick Downey on the drums. So I'm not really sure I know who that is even. But anyways, pretty good album. It's a little bit longer than Tyranny of Mutations as well, so maybe 3 or 4 minutes longer. Some of the tracks, of course, quite heavy. The opening track I really liked in this album, Take Me Away. I thought this was a pretty heavy song. But there was a couple of tracks on here I thought were a little bit on the poppy side too. But yeah, really good. Both albums are good. I can't say much about this one at this point because it's still relatively Revolution by Night. It was still relatively new to me, but Tyranny of Mutations, I'm pretty comfortable with my opinion about it. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Decade Apart and this whole mini series that we've now run for 6 episodes. I think each of the groups he chose weren't like at the top of my list of groups, but definitely pretty strong bands, all of them. And it was enjoyable to do. I got to listen to some albums that I haven't gotten into yet, some that I was actually quite familiar with. Anyways, I hope you like the series, so please hit the like and subscribe. And if you want to make any comments about Blue Oyster Cult or the series in general, you can do that in the comment section below. And if you want to say anything about the 2 albums, you can do that too. And we will be back next week with a new series that I've been discussing with Ben. I haven't got a name for it yet, but basically Ben will be giving me a question of the week, sort of type of thing. And I'll be answering that question, and then which I guess will open the door for other questions. So anyways, take care and have yourself a good evening, and goodbye.